I know. Shoot, last time I saw you, things were just kicking off for you with Vision of Love, your first record.
I know. Come a long way. I missed you. I haven't seen you in so long.
How nice. Well, I missed you, too. I am so excited to have you here today.
I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It has definitely been a long time. Are you surprised that you have sold as many records as you have and that you talked about the way you are? Just one of the greatest voices of our time.
That's very nice of you. Thank you. I mean, I'm very surprised at all the success, and I'm very grateful for all the success at the same time. So it's like, you know, I just try to do the best I can do, and, you know, I'm always totally super critical of everything that I do, and, you know, I'll look back on things and say, oh, I hate what I did on that song, or that video annoys me, I can't watch it, change it. You know, I mean, things like that. But I'm just thankful to everybody who helped to make this happen for me, you know.
Yeah.
All the fans have been really cool, and just glad to be doing it.
Do you ever have that feeling when you're in the studio, actually, and you're recording something, and it's like in the mix, you're just about doing it, and you put the final mix on, and you go, oh, God, I hate the way that I did that, and...
Oh, yeah.
Do you go back and do it, or you
I've
just
made
let
them
it
put a mic up while they're mixing.
Really?
I'm not above making them let me go back in and redo it, and then still hating it. It's just like, that's the way I am. Like, I'm really a perfectionist with things, and I think it's also because of, you know, writing the songs. I have, like, such a vision of how I want them to sound, and then sometimes they never really reach where I want them to be. But it's been really interesting because working, you know, doing a lot of different albums in such a short period of time has really taught me a lot, you know, and especially doing the Christmas album, it was just more like a fun interlude for me because I love Christmas time and Christmas music and everything. And when I went into the studio to make it, it was like less of a stressful situation. You know, everybody wasn't so on top of me going, make it perfect, make it like this, make it like, you know what I mean? So it was more like my own space to really just sit there and look at it and say, you know, this is a Christmas album, it's fun, I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to do things that I wouldn't normally be able to do. So we had a good time, and I brought some special guests who sang on it with me, but they'll be here later. They wouldn't let me come here without meeting you.
Oh, cool. Well, your background singers, the Prices.
Yes, Kelly and Cherie.
All right, cool. Well, I look forward to that. Do you produce?
Yeah, I co-produced the album, and I wrote 3 new Christmas songs.
Do you have the hope that one of your songs would be considered a classic one day? Wouldn't that be nice to have a classic Christmas song?
I would love it. I mean, I'm not going to be, you know, that arrogant as to say, well, you know, this will become a classic or that's a classic, but I'm very happy with them. So, you know, I mean, I had a great time writing the Christmas songs, because when you're writing, you know, a Christmas song, it's a totally different perspective than writing just a regular song. You know, you're like thinking about, okay, what do I think about like at Christmas time? And you're drawing on a whole bunch of different emotions. So it was really cool. And then recording them, just doing a Christmas album in general is a totally different feeling, you know, and vibe than being in there doing a new album. But I think it really helped me as far as my new album that I'm working on now, because it gave me like a fresher outlook on recording and just making it more loose. And
Is it easier to write a Christmas song, or is it harder?
Well, I have basically 3 different types of Christmas songs on this record. One, called Jesus Born on This Day, is really like a traditional hymn that I wrote that's very like spiritual, and it was a lot of fun because we brought some little kids in there and they sang with us, my backup singers, nieces and nephews and little sisters and stuff, and that was really cool. So that's a totally different perspective. It's much more spiritual. Then I did one that's like really kind of fun and like old fashioned, like, you know, very like 60s retro, called All I Want for Christmas Is You. Very Ronettes type of a vibe. And Miss You Most at Christmas is the one I think we're going to play today. And it's very like kind of a sad, reflective Christmas song, because not everybody is happy at the holidays, you know what I mean? A lot of people get very mellow and thinking about people that have passed or that, you know, aren't with them anymore. So that was kind of my point of view on that song.
Right, okay. You ran into some controversy about your heritage, your background, are you black or white, and all of that. When you were going through that, what were your feelings? What were your thoughts? And did you ever address it head on?
It's very, very difficult to even like get into that, because I don't think people could understand it unless they, like, lived in my shoes and really knew how hard it was, because it's very tough to be interracial. It really is, because you never know how people are relating to you, perceiving you, you know what I mean? And I personally never really felt like one way or the other. I always felt like I was very much like an outsider to everything, you know what I mean? Not feeling like one thing or another. And that's why, I don't know, it was just very, very, it made me feel good to be embraced by all different, you know, charts and things like that, because it made me feel like it's okay to be who I am. I don't always have to worry about, you know, well, maybe they're thinking this, or maybe they think, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right,
it's like, why does it have to be about that?
Right.
You know, my father's black in Venezuela, my mother is Irish, you know. I should be able to be a combination of those things and not have to worry about, but what are you? You know what I mean? But which one of those three things are you? It's like, I'm all of them, and that's who I am. To deny one would be to deny myself, you know? So I have to be everything that I am. That's it.
So you are comfortable with that now? I mean, you've come to grips with that, and it doesn't bother you like it did before?
I think that people are more bothered by it than I am.
Yeah.
I think other people have a lot harder time dealing with me being multiracial than I do. It's fine for me. I don't think about it. But other people like to be able to pinpoint you and to kind of stereotype you and say, what are you? Where do you fit in to my puzzle so I know how to categorize you? You know what I mean? I don't need to categorize myself because I'm me. But other people, you know, don't have the same outlook. And that's understandable. And hopefully one day we'll be able to deal with each other
is it really
as
understandable?
People and not, you know, categories.
But yeah, it's the same thing happens in your career too, doesn't it?
Right.
I mean, and I'm not just talking about you in particular, but people always want to know, well, what kind of music? Are you an R&B artist or are you pop? You know, what do you do? They want to categorize it. So you deal with that in your personal life and on a professional level too. Well,
the truth is, I mean, people, there can be a rap song that comes out and that's the biggest song on the rap charts and it crosses over and suddenly it's pop. You know what I mean? It's not about what are you making when you go, you know, make the record. They thought it was a rap song. Suddenly, you know, kids in the suburbs are buying it, and so therefore it's pop. You know what I mean? It's all about how many people relate to it, and you know, that it's crossing boundaries, and it's all good. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be, well, you crossed over, so, you know, therefore, you know, we don't respect you anymore.
You're no longer R&B. You're pop.
Exactly. It's all where you're coming from inside, and that's how I look at it. And I know that not everybody looks at it that way, and that's cool with me. You know, I can only be who I am.
We're going to take a look at your latest video. Miss you most at Christmas time. This is Mariah Carey.